Hi teams, this is Clara here. You can't see me, but this is my mum. We're going to be doing a makeup look on her to show you how to do a mature skin makeup and something that's really polished and beautiful for an event. I've already prepped my mum's skin, so everything's nice and fresh and glowy. We're going to start by using a By Terry primer. This is the Don Solis. What this primer does is it helps to promote collagen and elastin in the skin. It's going to really smooth out my mum's fine lines, any pores as well, and just create a beautiful base for the makeup. All of By Terry's makeup has a lot of skincare technology in there as well, so it's getting the best of both worlds with makeup and making the skin look really fresh and plump. So just applying that. We're also going to be using a By Terry foundation. I've just colour matched my mum with the By Terry Eclat Opulent. This is one of the most amazing foundations we have in store. There's 14 different ingredients to correct the skin. It's got this amazing blurring technology. It only comes in 3 shades, so it adapts with the skin tone. It helps brighten any dark spots, helps really blur fine lines, just blurs any imperfections on the skin. It's absolutely gorgeous, amazing for mature skin. It's full coverage without feeling like there's anything on the skin surface. I'm going to use a brush for this. You can see it just melts into the skin, so you can use your fingers with it. But let's just buff it right in. Do you mind turning that way? Normally, By Terry's foundations have 20% pigment and rest skincare. So the trick to this foundation is you want to colour match them to their skin tone, and then the foundation will just adapt for your customer. It's pretty amazing. You always want to think with a more mature customer that the less base you can get away with, the better. It will always wear nicer when you've got a thinner consistency on the skin. It won't sit into any fine lines that way.
What does that do?
What do you mean?
What you're doing now?
I'm just pressing the foundation to the skin because I feel like our fingers always are the best tools. Very good fluff. This is just warming up the product so it's not sitting on the surface as well. So referring back to what I was just saying with less product the better. That's going to warm it up. My fingers are picking up any excess product there, and it just sits with the skin, not on top. You can always dab your foundation brush where you need a little bit more coverage. And you can see that just takes it away beautifully. This is one of my favorite products in store. This is the By Terry CC Serum. I use this as my primer or something I mix in with my foundation because it just gives an absolutely beautiful glow, evens out your skin without actually using foundation. For my mum, because she's not as tan as I am when I'm fake tan, we're not going to use it for the same purpose. I'm going to use it just to warm up my mum's skin. So I'm using the same foundation brush. Pick a little bit of that product up. You can see it's a gorgeous tan shade. We're just going to turn on and just apply that where the sun would naturally hit the skin. This is going to add a gorgeous bit of colour. You're not going to get any harsh lines from a cream product because we're going to really buff this in so it's one with her skin too. This technology is awesome because, just turning again, because it has this ingredient in here where it refines the skin. So if your customer does have any darker spots on the face, it does help to brighten those and camouflage them, but also at the same time just going to see long-term results with this product too, because you're going to see a really brightening effect. Looks really good. So my mum has been a little bit sick, and my mum is always doing things. So she doesn't get a lot of sleep. So we're really going to camouflage the under eyes now. I'm using one of the By Terry Stylo Expert Sticks. This is awesome product as well for under the eyes or anywhere for the skin. It's quite full coverage without being too heavy and cakey. So we're just going to really pat that into the skin with the eye area. Just looking up for me, Mum. Really focus it just where the like darkness does begin. So quite just right in this shadowing area. And I always love to tell my customers, just close your eyes for me. Pop that in the inner corner, because that's really where the darkness stems from as well. It's a place where a lot of people forget to put concealer. I really like to apply concealer just on the edge of the eye as well, because we get a bit of shadowing here. We want everything to be lifted with a look like this, so we're really going to counteract shadowing here as well. This does have a bit more of a matte finish, so if you turn for me, if there's anywhere else where I really want a little bit more coverage, I'm really going to target it with this product here, because then you won't have to set the makeup. It's just going to sit and wear beautifully as well. So my mum has a little bit of discoloration on her eyelids, so I'm just going to get her close. I'm just going to add a little bit on her eyelids. This will also aid in prepping the eyelids for the shadows later that we're going to use. We're also going to use a primer too. So the more layering, the more finer layers. This is all going to wear really beautifully. I want to also show you guys this product. This is one of my favorite concealers as well. This is the Chantecaille Le Camouflage Stylo. So I'm just going to use a little bit of that. I learnt from one of our international trainers from Chantecaille that if you leave this on the skin, if you look up for me, the longer you leave this on the skin, the more coverage it gets. And this has so many beautiful properties in there to brighten, hyaluronic acid to plump up the under eyes. So this has like a built-in concealer, built-in corrector. It's a very thin product too. I just want to really make sure our under eyes are really nice and bright. And I feel like the longer you leave it on the skin as well, it sort of just melts itself in, and then you can just pat it out and it just does the work for you. I always get my customer to look away from where I'm blending or applying eyeliner, because that way they feel more comfortable. Not like something's coming at them and gonna jab them in the eye. You want to make sure there's minimal product still under the eyes, so just keep pressing until you're happy with the layering process. Okay, so a really great product for setting the under eye area is the By Terry Hyaluronic Powder. This is such a soft powder. It's basically just skincare in powder form. You can actually set your skincare with this if you don't like a tacky feeling as well. You got to be really careful with this product because it can flash back horribly. It can look quite blue if you're getting flash photography as well. So I'm just going to get you to look up, Mum. I always pat the under eyes before I set, because whatever we're going to set now, if that's creased, it's going to set creased. So just going to make sure that's really nice and blended. This really gives you that soft focus, smooth effect. It just is going to set the under eyes really nicely. I'm just going to go again. Looking up. So just a real little bit. A little bit goes a really long way with that. I'm not going to set my mum's makeup with a powder. I'm going to use some of the Hourglass powders. I'm sure you guys all know about these powders in store. Do you like them?
They're really pretty.
Yeah, they're my favourites. So I'm using diffuse light just in the centre of my mum's face. So these are going to give you that perfect lighting while smoothing the skin and not mattifying. So they give you that blurred look around any fine lines. You can see it's already picking up a bit of the light there, brightening up my mum's centre of the face. And it will slightly set the makeup too, but without it looking heavy. We really want this to look fresh. So I'm going to be applying luminous light to my mum's, the highest points of my mum's face. So remember, keep everything really lifted. Luminous light's a great powder because It is beautiful and glowy, but it's not as intense as one of our normal highlighters in store. Just gives a really ethereal look to the skin. I like using a small brush because you can be really precise with it. I'm just turning. I'll put a little bit down the center of the nose, a little bit on the cupid's bow, just because we want to create that spotlight look. That's really a youthful, it's a really youthful placement. I want to glow. I'm going to be using a By Terry blush on my mum. It's a beautiful berry shade. I feel like it suits a lot of looks. Sorry, this is a beautiful product because By Terry obviously uses a lot of her skincare technology in her makeup. So this here is going to smooth out any fine lines and just blur the skin too. So that technology is in the powder as well. This is from the Dot Solis range. My placement again is quite high and quite far back towards the ear. Blending that through the highlight there. And just turning. I think a nice bit of blush is really beautiful on a mature client because it does really help brighten and give that structure to the skin. It really gives a beautiful youthful effect. Really lifts the skin, as you can see. So I'm going to do my mum's eyebrows now. My mum has a pretty good shape. I'm just going to brush through first. I'm using a really precise pencil. This is my favourite, the Kevyn Aucoin eyebrow pencils. You can really create fine brow strokes with this. You want to keep the brows quite soft but defining because this will really structure the face. It will determine how youthful the look looks as well. So I find using a thin pencil like this, you can go in and be quite soft and natural with it because we can just do a really precise placement with the fine hair strokes. I'm using dark brunette for my mum. The fuller your eyebrows are, normally, the more youthful the face will appear. So we're just adding a little bit more fullness, and I've just added a little bit of length to my mum's brows as well. The less arch you have in your brow as well actually makes you look more youthful too. So the straighter your brow is, the better. I'm just going over my mum's eyelids before we do her eyeshadow with a bit of that hyaluronic powder, just to make sure that concealer that we did apply is set, because we do not want her eyeshadow to be moving at all. We're going to be applying the By Terry Ombre Black Star. These are a massive favourite in store because they are so easy to use, and they are a colour and a pencil and primer all in one. I love using these because they are very quick to get a beautiful effect. I'm using Misty Rock on my mum. Misty Rock is a gorgeous sort of taupey, browny, purpley shade. Really helps to enhance a brown eye. And it's something a little bit different than your normal bronze. I'm just buffing that in with a little brush. You can obviously use your fingers. I stop the product as soon as my mum's eye crease is there. So start at the lash root and stop just about where your crease will start there. You don't have to be neat with these because they're going to blend themselves out. They're super creamy. They've got black crushed pearls in there as well, so great for an event when you want a little bit of that sparkle. And as you move, you get all these different colours. So I'm just using a fluffy brush with a bit of a matte brown eyeshadow, just tapping off the excess so there's not a whole lot on there. And I'm just going to start shaping my mum's eye. We don't want a whole lot, just keeping it on the outer edges just to give it a bit of smoke and blend out that colour and primer that we've used in the beginning there. I'm really just focusing on the outer edges, and because that's going to promote the eye to look more lifted. And look at me. You can even get your custom look straight ahead, because that's when you'll see the natural crease. That's where you want to apply that colour. You can always use your thumb to lift the eye. You'll find that you'll have a better blending experience that way. You can keep the eye a little bit more taut and blend away. A really great tip for blending edges on eyeshadows is using, not this one, we're going to use Dim Light. Dim Light is a blurring powder from Hourglass. You can always use Dim Light. This is really going to help blend your colours through. So you're not going to get that grabbing from the matte shadows. It's just going to help blend that further. From the palette I've got here, I've got like a nice champagne-y shade. I'm just going to apply that in the inner corners here. You don't want to use anything too metallic in the inner corners. We just want to use something a little bit more glistening, just to keep that open and nice and bright. I really love an eyeliner look on someone that's more mature, because we've gone a little bit softer, still defining with the colours, but we're really going to define the eyes now with a brown eyeliner. So brown is always flattering a lot of eye shades. We're just going to go in and get that quite close to the lashes there. I love using brown eyeliner because it's still really defining and it just looks really pretty. A really warm brown, nice chocolatey colour. And then I'm just going to get you to look up for me. We're going to use a little bit of that on the outer corners underneath the eye, and now we're going to just start to smudge that out a little bit. So we're just going in with a bit of a chocolatey dark brown shadow just to smudge that out. It's going to give you a beautiful soft smoky edge, and this is really easy to recreate in store because you are just blending and just finessing that liner into the lash line. So you don't really have to be too neat with this. We're going to tightline the eyes, so look that way. This is just going to create a really fuller appearance to the eyes. So just looking that way for me. Looking that way, yeah. It makes such a difference to the lash line. So if you look straight ahead in the mirror, in the camera, Mom, you can see that her lashes automatically look fuller, and it adds a lot of definition to the lash too. So again, just getting that eyeliner right into the roots of the lash. Again, you don't have to be messy. I mean, you don't have to be neat with this. Just look down, and that way, Mum. Getting them to look away from the pencil keeps the skin quite taut too, and it also is more comfortable for them. And then just looking up for me. Once you've got the eyeliner on, you want to get your small domed brush again and just press that into the colour. Just close your eyes again. So just pressing, because you want this quite dense, and then you can start to wiggle the colour out, and that will soften the edges. Just looking up again. Always keep your concealer brush on hand, because you can sort of help maneuver where you want the shades to lead. Sort of acts like an eraser as well. Just connecting those two liners on the top and the bottom there. Looking that way. And just looking again opposite. Just look that way if you can. It'll be over before you know it. Looking that way. make sure you get right into those inner corners. Just close for me again. And then look at me. I'm looking down that way. Just keep applying until you're happy with the colour payoff. So now that we've got the eye look, we've got this really concentrated, defined lash line blown out into some smoky colours. I'm just gonna get my mum to look down, and I'm just gonna look down instead. Yeah, I'm just gonna curl my mum's eyelashes. Is it okay if I do that? Does that feel okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I'm just going to be using some mascara, so just looking down for me again. Really want to focus on the lashes. You can always add individuals, they look really gorgeous with this sort of look. We're just going to do mascara on Mum today. Just look down that way, Mum. That way. Whenever you get them to look away, that's always a better opportunity for you to get closer to the roots of the lash. So you can tell that I'm using my thumb again to lift my mum's eye. That's really going to help you get right to the roots of the lashes as well. Looking down. I've decided to leave my mum's bottom eyelashes free of mascara. I like this because it really does lift the eyelash, so more of the focus is on the top, so it does give you that lifted look to the eyes, really youthful still. If your customer does want it, go for it, but this is just a trick to lift the eyes. I'm going to use a bit of my Eden lip liner from Hourglass. This is a waterproof liner. So I've got a bit of Toucher lip balm on my mum. I actually really like keeping this on the lips. As you've prepped the skin, put some lip balm on them. That's going to be a really great primer for the lipstick. It's just going to help it all glide on, keep everything really hydrated and plump. So I'm just going over my mum's lip line. We really want to round out the lips. This is going to make them look fuller and more plump as well, give them a lot of volume. My mum has already a great shape to her lips, so we're just going to enhance them. This is a really great neutral shade for a lot of lipsticks actually. It's one of my go-tos in store. So if you're starting from the outer corner and going through, that's going to give you a rounder effect versus going downwards, because you're going to close the lip up. So always try to follow through from the corner to the Cupid's bow. I'm going to be using a NARS lip shade, just using a really soft pink. Something with a bit of peachy pink colour, just really brightens up the skin. You can obviously use like a red or something a bit more vibrant. I really like doing that for a mature skin, because sometimes if you want to downplay the eyes, a lip option's always gorgeous, just to dress it up a little bit. But we're going to go quite neutral because we've got a bit more definition on the eyes today. Just turn for me. Beautiful. I always look at the makeup at the end to see if she needs a little bit more of anything on the face. So I always go back maybe in with a little bit more blush, a bit more bronzer or highlight. I think maybe we will just do with a bit of blush today. And just turning. And if you did want to go in with a powder bronzer, I always suggest going with something a little bit more on the matte side, and just concentrate it on the back of the face here, just to give a little bit of shape. You can always go on the top of the forehead and a little bit along the jaw, just to give a bit of colour, but you don't want to go too sculpty with someone that's mature, because we don't want to make the skin look sallow. We want to keep everything lifted and plumped. Alright, so this is the look. We've got really fresh skin that looks like skin, a lot of colour to the cheek, and a lot of volume with the highlight there. Full brows, really fluffy and natural. A lot of definition at the lash line with the kohl pencil. Beautiful colour with the By Terry, just a wash of colour, and a nice lip as well, just to give a bit of brightness to the overall look. Then we're done.
Thank you so much. Very nice.
You're such an idiot.
Huge improvement.
Thanks, Rob. Alright.
Okay.
What?
Can you take a picture of me and send it to me?
Yeah.